bigger.
How about now?
Yes, we can see your screen, but cannot see Nelson's screen.
I see something funny.
It's good that you see it, I don't see it.
I see pixelated screen.
Can I reduce?
Yeah, there you go.
Is everybody seeing?
I only see the Skype window, but I don't see anything after that. I'm not sure other people.
I can see Nelson is sharing Muzima.
I don't see it.
You don't see it? Give me a second. Let me switch network first. Hold on. I'll drop up.
Yeah, now I can see it now. Yep, it works now. Just need to be bigger when the screen. And we don't see anything. I think it got dropped. Oh, we
Can you
left.
see now?
We exit the chat, so just wait for him to come back so that we can see it.
I can share with you, Ada.
He's back.
Okay.
Okay, we can see it now. Go ahead.
So what you're looking at is the normal Muzima. Go to clients. We see all the lists of clients, but right on top, we have two extra buttons, which is for the barcode, also for the fingerprint. So if I select on the first patient, down there, there's a toast. I don't know if you can see a toast. That fingerprint has not been captured. Let me go back. Fingerprint has not been captured. Are you able to see that? Hello?
Is it possible to minimize your Skype?
Okay.
Now we don't see anything except the blank Skype screen.
Okay, let me go back there.
Okay, now we can see it.
You can see.
Yes. Is it possible to be bigger?
You can see now.
Yes, we can see it.
So what you're looking at is, let me start again. From the list of clients, we have on top, right on top there, I've added another button, which is kind of round. That's for the fingerprint. And then the second one is for the barcode. But I'll just explain the one for the fingerprint. If I'm too fast, maybe you can tell me I go slowly. So
Okay.
the first thing I'll do is I select on the first patient, which is listed on top of the list. And after I select, down there, there's a notification that fingerprint has not been captured. Should we wait for the guys joining? Hello.
I think we can start. Yeah, you can. I think we can start because it's being recorded. Other people can see the recording
Okay.
later.
Yeah, so what I was explaining is if you select a patient that has not been captured the fingerprint, it gives you a toast down there, fingerprint has not been captured. Then if I tap on that button right there, it takes me to another screen for fingerprint. So right there, I can identify a patient, I can stop the process of identifying a patient, or I can continue. Continue in this case, if I tap on continue, it will notify me that no identification completed. Please tap identify first so that you can identify. Identifying in this case and then clicking continue will take you to the patient's dashboard. So for now, because I can't plug in the fingerprint reader, I'll just go back to the previous home screen. I want to select a patient which I've captured the fingerprint, which is Horatio. If I tap on Horatio, I have his fingerprint. So I will not get the toast like we got earlier on. Tap on Horatio. Down there is no toast because we already have the fingerprint for that patient. So that's basically like an overview of the fingerprint. Let's go to kind of adding a new client. I load the form, scroll up to fingerprint field. So the first thing you do when you're capturing the fingerprint is you choose the finger that you want to pick on all the fingers that are available on the drop down. So I'll pick on right thumb and done. When I come to the fingerprint field, I click on the same button that is the same one on the client's list on top. If you tap on it, it takes you to a screen where you can scan the finger. And again, you can stop the process and you can go back. If you continue from here, it will go back to the form and populate that field with a base 64 string. I can pull up, let me pull up something so that you can see. Can you see that? Can you see that screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Hello, can you see the, oh yeah, so how that field has been populated is how when you click continue, it will populate that field with that string character, and then you can now save and the biometric, the demographic update form in the server will populate the field for that patient, which is a person attribute. So for now, I'll just go back, click back again, it goes back to the form. So we capture from here, same to registration form and same to demographic update form and populates the field like that. Go back to home, to the client's list. So that's basically like a process that it's there now for fingerprint, unless someone has a question.
Nelson, can you mute your Skype? We can hear you through the Hangout. I think that's why we hear you talking twice.
Okay, you can hear me once now.
Yep, cool.
Yeah, so do I go back or that's okay?
No, I think it's fine.
Okay. And then I've shared the code on how I've implemented the fingerprint, again on how the fingerprint is updated for the patients using the demographics update form handler on the server registration module. Same to how we pull the attributes in a given cohort. I've done that. So guys can check it out and have your comments on how we can improve it, or maybe something can be changed.
Yeah, I want to know how does the fingerprint being taken? Can you describe the process? Like what tools?
So let me go back to the.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll still the tool that you need to have is whenever I tap on the same button right there, you just need the Futronic SDK 280, the one we shared, and you just plug it into your phone. And if I tap right now, identify, it gives me a notification that cannot start enrollment operation or cannot open scanner device. So once you have the scanner device, it can open and you can capture the image by it will notify you using a toast, or no, not a toast. Let me show you from the PDF if you can see the PDF. Give me a second. See how the finger will, you'll scan the finger. It will be shown like what I'm showing now on the screen 3 times. Once you've captured that, now I convert that image into a string for ease of storage purposes. I want to pull up on one that I've stored. So another challenge, it's okay, let me just not go to that part, but I store the image, I convert it into a base64 string. That's why we can be able to see this part here, where my cursor is, if you can see that. So you see like it's just characters, and then I store that character. When it comes back again to the phone through the cohort details, that's person's attribute, I convert that base64 string into a fingerprint template, which is in case it's byte array, and I use it as an input to identify that patient. Ada, did I answer your question, or you missed something?
Yeah, I just want to clarify, you still use the Filtronic fingerprint technology, correct?
Yes, I do.
So I thought that this particular technology only works in certain type of devices. Has that been resolved?
Not yet. I'm still working on that. It's a bit hard because I have to get the devices to test them myself and ensure that it works with all devices. But I'm hoping in the next future we'll have a solution that it will work across all devices. But again, when I was doing my research, I found out that most of these, for it to work on the fingerprint, you need a capability that you might not really have a solution for all Android devices, but you might have to use only Android devices that are kind of new, in that that has been added in the factory because they ride on the latest technology of Android. So it's only that we might not have that in devices that are out there already, but if we have that technology in the device, it will be easy for us to use it. But again, on addition of that, getting a good cheap device in Nairobi, we can even out there, we can order specific tablets that works with the fingerprint, like what a company in Nairobi did, and they gave me some of them to test out. So it's a very cheap device. You can get it as cheap as $25. I don't know, 25,000 Kenya shillings. That's inclusive of the fingerprint and everything.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that it would work for our current devices that we have already. And then maybe you can work with Stephen, Melakwan, and Derek just to get some of those devices so that you can help to test.
Yeah, I did test some, like the Asus and the Nexus, but unfortunately, some of them were not able to do that. But there's a few devices that I sent to Sonak from Nairobi that I know it will be expensive again to buy other devices that works with the fingerprint. Yeah, but as before we get a solution that can work with the device that we have, we might just be forced to have the devices.
Yeah, so thanks. So one more question. Do you mind to show us again, so if a patient claim he is new, and can you go through the workflow that how you search by the fingerprint when you look up for the patient, whether it's existed or not from your device?
Okay. So let me just minimize this screen. So let me just sign in. My session is timed out.
Maybe on the same, if I may add a question.
Okay.
This is Derek speaking.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, I can. Let's go
Now,
ahead.
while you are looking into the requirements or the consideration, did you put also speed in mind? Would this affect the speed of the devices?
No, it won't affect.
Okay. Sure. Thanks.
So I can tap on adding a new client. Then we have the registration form. So that's a new client. You select the finger
So,
that you want to scan.
sorry, it's still showing the PDF document on the screen share.
Okay.
Sorry.
You're saying I show or I hide?
No, it's still showing the PDF
Okay.
right now.
Okay.
I cannot see your emulator.
Can you see now?
Not yet. I don't know if others
Only
see.
Win is sharing. No,
No.
I only see Win sharing his screen or something. Everybody. That's what we see your image.
Yeah, because
Let me just turn off my video.
yeah. So Martin Nelson was having a difficult time to share his screen, so that we just share through Skype and then from Win's Skype to Hangout. That's why you see
So
as if
can
like
you see
Win is
the emulator?
still not yet.
Can we see my what I'm trying to share?
He said
Oh,
no.
Win got off.
No, Win is on, but he's sharing his screen.
Okay.
Yeah, Nelson. The first priority for us is for you for the fingerprinting technology to be compatible with the devices being used at AMPACT. So we are not asking for all Android devices, but it's more, can it work with the devices that we're using for our programs right now? Okay? And we can give you those devices for testing purposes, so you don't need to buy anything.
Yes. Can we see my screen now? The emulator?
Still the PDF.
No, it's still stuck in the PDF, Nelson.
Well, I've removed the PDF from this side, so I'm wondering why. Let me just
try stopping and
changed?
then reshare it through Skype.
Are you still seeing the PDF?
Yes.
Let me close the PDF.
Still the PDF.
Try stop sharing first, Nelson.
Yeah. Do they require you standing by a fence? Oh, that's a picture.
Win, can you see now?
No. Can you try stopping the sharing and then reshare it? Now we can see your bag. Now we can see your emulator.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me just go back to the main list of clients that we have. So when I had a new client, the normal process, then it loads the registration form. Scroll down, you'll find fingerprint, finger, and then the fingerprint. So the first one is for selecting the finger that you want to pick on. So if it's right thumb, left thumb, right index, last index, right middle. So just select on right thumb. For the fingerprint, you tap on that icon that's on top in between. If you tap on it, it loads a screen that you can scan the finger. And if you click on scan, it will give you a notification because I haven't plugged in the scanner device. Then, but after scanning the finger right here, as shown in the PDF that I shared, if you click continue, it will take you back to the form and populate this field right here that I'm trying to put some numbers. So the scanning functionality will populate this field with a fingerprint image template converted to a base64 string. So once you do that, the normal registration, this data will be pushed to the server and it will be added to the patient, the new patient, as a person attribute. So that is adding a new client. When we have a person that's already registered as a fingerprint in the system, like now Horatio, you tap on this button, it gives you a screen to identify patient. You can either stop the process or back and then continue. So if you click on identify the patient, it will identify the patient that from the given cohort whose fingerprint has already been captured. So at this point, it has already, the functionality in the background only loops through the cohort and gets only patients whose fingerprint has been captured to be given as identification payload to the fingerprint scanner. So at this point, if you identify a patient and you click continue, it will give the patient's name right here on the status, where we have between back and the continue button, there's a space there. It will give you that this patient is so and so, and you can tap continue to proceed. But right now, if I tap continue, no identification completed, so you need to identify the patient first. So that is how you identify a patient. And oh, sorry again, my session.
So yeah, Nelson.
Yes.
You're either going fast or I'm slow. I think most likely I'm slow. Okay.
Maybe I'm fast. I can.
No, these guys are sharp for Friday evening. So a couple of things. Just because you're going to be restarting the process again.
Mm-hmm.
So from a workflow standpoint, okay. So did you click fingerprint first? Is that what you did?
Yes,
How did you get? So when you click the fingerprint at the top, okay, so just click that.
I click on that like that, it takes me to a different page.
So it takes you there, right?
Activity. Yes.
So what I'm trying to understand, so the fingerprint button at the top, have you guys gone through this already, or I'm slowing you guys down?
This is why I'm asking to go through this again, because I think I was slow as well.
Okay. Me and you both. So Nelson, so one screen back, okay?
Okay.
So basically, you click the back button, that works, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you go back. Yeah, I'm still seeing. Okay. So you click the fingerprint at the top. Okay.
Yes.
So I thought if you click the fingerprint, you're trying to say, I want to collect the fingerprint for someone and identify them through the fingerprint. Is that correct? That's why you have, like, no. I'm trying to understand the purpose of having it up there in terms of what you're trying to do with it.
Yeah, having it up there is just a functionality. You can identify a patient through fingerprint the same way you can search, the same way you can do barcode. Yeah.
Okay, good. So if you click that, okay, now it takes you to the next screen which says identify patient, right?
Yeah.
So why not just ask them to enter the finger, basically almost have a level, identify a patient and have them choose the fingerprint. Why do you need this part here? I'm sure there's a good reason. I'm just trying to understand.
During the identification process, you choosing the fingerprint, you can't choose the fingerprint. The application assumes that when I was enrolling, I picked on right thumb, and when I'm coming to identify myself as a patient again, I pick on the same right thumb. So this screen is the reason why I can't have it in the other part is kind of independent, and it kind of invokes the hardware. So it has to be invoked through that's why. Let me just try identify a patient right now. It gives you a notification that cannot start enrollment operation. Sorry, that's a typo. Should be cannot start identification operation, cannot open scanner device. So we can't embed these into the client list that we have. We have to kind of get the cohort that we want, bring it here into the screen that we're currently seeing, and identify a patient after scanning the fingerprint, like I showed in the BDF. Yeah. The reason again, okay, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so just going back to the cohort issues, right? Yeah. So you have individuals on the device already. Really should be independent of what cohort they have. So again here, I think I'm just missing something. So the current workflow for identifying individuals is you search them, doesn't really matter what modality, you look into a particular cohort, but really you look into the device. If they're not there, you say you want to search in the server, right? That's kind of the current workflow. Win, is that correct?
Yes, I think it's correct.
Correct.
Okay. Now, so if you're doing fingerprint scanning, wouldn't we just want to do the same thing? So you're really going to be scanning against the individuals whose demographics and fingerprint IDs have been downloaded on the device. You don't need to pull anything into the next screen that you were just showing us. Am I missing something there?
You need the next screen because you need to scan the fingerprint for them to identify them. Then let me just go back. When I tap on that button, this screen that we're currently seeing enables us to get the fingerprint for the patient. Once we have the fingerprint for the patient, we identify identify in the given list of patients that we have.
Yeah. So Nelson, just again to understand. So is there any indication for the user that this is the time to scan your fingerprint? How will they know that when they're on this? And what's that indication?
I have to share the PDF so that you can see the indication.
Okay. So the PDF shows. So what I'm saying here, it's actually very basic. It seems to me that you can just send a statement, something like please scan the fingerprint using the scanner or something to that effect. But maybe you're saying it's already in PDF.
Yeah, you see, let me just explain it right here. The space between the back button and the continue button where it's written status, can you see that? Yeah, so that space will notify the patient or whoever who's using the device that, okay, please place your finger in the scanner. And then again, it will notify a user again if the scanning process is complete. Then at the moment when because right now we're trying to identify, we have like 100 patients, and we want to identify one patient from the 100. So if you put your finger there, the process starts like, please place your finger into the scanner device. You place your finger, and automatically the device will tell you match found, match not found, or match found, and the patient is called so and so. If you tap on continue button right there, it will take you straight to the patient's or a dashboard where you see the observations, that kind of thing.
Good. Yeah. So that's what I was missing. So what you're saying is when we come to this page, right now I presume your fingerprint scanner is not connected.
Yeah, it is not, yeah.
So status, so it will give us something there like, please scan.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Now, so, and then it tells you scan completed, right?
Yes.
How will the person know which finger to put at that time? If it tells
that is, even if we capture the finger that you had used to register at this point, the fingerprint library will not use that option to pick on which finger. It will just take the patient's fingerprint and identify from the given 100 patient's fingerprint that we have. So that is why there's no need for us to get again choose the fingerprint, the finger that you used at this point. Yeah.
Sounds good. Okay. Maybe we take your lady off. Okay. Sorry. Now, so that's status, right?
Yeah.
Now, why do you have identify patient on the same screen? Like, what purpose does that serve?
Like I said earlier on, whenever you're trying to, you need to initiate the process of communicating with the hardware to the application, and that library process has been you can only invoke after you insert the scanner. So if I tap right now, like identify, it will tell me cannot start enrollment operation or can't open scanner device.
Yeah. So, well, basically what I was trying to understand is if the scanner, so right now the scanner is not connected. Shouldn't it tell us the scanner is not connected?
Unless you can check that, unless that can be checked from this other side before you click on the button. That can as well be checked.
Yeah.
But
So,
I decided to check it right here when you try to identify the patient. That's why it tells you cannot open scanner device.
yeah.
I
So I
think,
don't know what people think. Yeah, go ahead, Win.
yeah, I think this is a matter of UI workflow and where we want to implement the notification. So I think we can do it two ways. One is we do it the barcode scanning way, like in ODK. So you click on it, it will. So if you go back to the search client button, so if you
Right
click
there.
on on the fingerprint button up there, it will bring up like a search text area, and then in the text area you can tell the user if there is a fingerprint scanner connected or not, some sort of notification message. If
Okay.
the fingerprint scanner exists and connected and ready, just notify the user, please start scanning your finger. And if it's not ready or not, or no fingerprint scanner available, you can just say no fingerprint scanner available. And then when the user start scanning their finger, you can populate the fingerprint base 64 value in the search text field, and then narrow down the list of patients in this list to that matching fingerprint. That is one. The other one is you can transition to the way you have it right now, but I think make the UI more intuitive, I guess. Because as we transition to the next screen with what you have right now, I think it creates some sort of confusion on what do we need to do. Like we have back, continue, and identify available as active button. So for example, making the continue
Inactive.
inactive or only available when you find a match
Okay.
or something like that, and probably follow the way we have the UI for the button, like the style of the button, and to make it more seamless. I think that should help make it less confusion. I don't know. What do you
Okay.
guys think? Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, and also, so I agree with Win completely. The other thing is, every time you're using the scanner, the fingerprint scanner, you really need to check whether it's connected or not. Okay, so you can, when somebody presses this, the screen you have right now, if the scanner is not connected, even before they go to the next screen, you should tell them, please connect your scanner. Okay. And even after they've connected it, you make sure they've connected. In the next screen, people will connect and then maybe it gets disconnected. So the enforcement should also just be the same the way you have it right now. So I would add the checks at both levels, not just at one level.
Okay.
Okay. But the user interface conversation is also quite important in terms of conforming with the rest of our UI, because right now it seems like this is so different from what we are trying to do, and it's simply a user interface issue. Sorry, somebody was about to say something. I'll shut up.
Yep. So it could be one or the other way.
I'll pick on the last way.
Okay. So yeah, if you go with the current one, then I think making it conform and making it less confusing by removing some active button. I think it should help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other question?
Anyone with more comments?
The other comment I had was, earlier on when you are in the different screen where you're asking them, could you please select which thumb? Why don't you just default to one? Okay, that way nobody has to figure out which thumb to use every single time. Okay, so we just have one which we typically default to, like right thumb. Okay, and then if a provider really wants to change it because somebody doesn't have that thumb or because it's colors or something, then they can do it. Okay, and then the second thing is the output there. Okay, the output.
Yes.
You don't want to give them a chance to change it as a free text because they'll screw it up for sure.
Yeah, I just did this for the demo, but it's
okay.
It's not editable. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We know ourselves. We'll mess it up so fast. Okay. So the only way you can edit it or change it is by doing another fingerprint scan.
Yeah.
Okay.
One more question for Nelson. You mentioned that you would take 3 copies of the fingerprints. I just wonder how. Can you describe how it works? Especially for example on this screen, let's say that you press on here and then you indicate which finger, and then you take the fingerprint. How is what is the workflow? Can you show the screen like actually it's like take 3 times, 3 copies or something like that?
Yes, the space again between the back button and the continue button where it's written status is where the user is notified of anything that needs to be done. In this case now, that's the first place they'll be told, place your finger in the scanner device, put it again as in the second, the third, and the fourth time. Only 3 times. The reasons behind this is just to get the 3 images and get of the best quality out of that, because I can put my finger now, the second time I might not really put it nicely, but it's just to get the best image of the sample that you've given. And that one the library does.
Okay, so it will be on the screen that you used to have the back button and continue button.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So
and I have another question actually. So let's say that you take like 3 copies of the fingerprints and then you take the best quality one and then move forward, and then it go to this registration form screen. Shouldn't that fingerprint image already captured and the string has been converted, and there's no need for that to be editable again on this registration form?
Yes, I just enabled it to be editable for the demo, but in the real sense, I had left it to be not editable.
So like for the registration form, in terms of the fingerprint, it's just like to pull the input data that you just collected and just to display. Is it correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Nelson. Hi, this is Shweta here. I just had a quick question. I'm not really don't know a lot about how fingerprinting happens on the device itself. So the unique ID that you were saying that gets generated once the fingerprint is actually taken.
Yeah.
Is let's say I'm patient and this is the very first time you're taking my fingerprint, and then you convert it to some kind of unique string or number and then you store it on the device and on the server. And the next time I come in for an encounter or you need to identify me again, you're going to, the next time I do it, will this algorithm always generate the same number? Like, I just wanted to just see how accurate, is this really accurate? I've never used it. Just curious to understand how it works.
Yeah, it's okay. That's a good question. It opens up another point of discussion, but it's okay. I've done that practically myself. I kind of registered myself and I got the base 64 string. The next time you come back, the scanner device will actually give you a kind of different image, different from what you had. But the identification process is part of the proprietary code. I wasn't able to see how they exactly try to identify you, but you can be identified given the input. So if you scan your finger now and get a base 64 string, come up even again the second time, using the same finger, the same way you placed, gets a different base 64 string. But if you put the same base 64 strings, it will be identified as one person using the libraries that they provided. So it actually identifies one person, but there's that, if you try to follow it yourself, you hit a snag because they have just .iso libraries that you can't decrypt from there.
So okay, I'm just wondering like how, okay, let's say that the library or whatever, the identification system identifies me through my fingerprint and finds my details as a patient, and then the next, when you hit continue, it should take me to a screen which shows all my details and my encounters, etc. Right? So you're kind of bringing this up based on the fingerprint, right? Like you identify the patient based on the fingerprint. Is there ever a chance that, and is this a mandatory field? Like, would it ever get a wrong person's record up? Is that possible?
It's not possible. I've never encountered that, but maybe I've never, even in the documentation, it's hard. The only chance you might get is you might not get the wrong person, but maybe you, the one that I experience is when you have a finger that's not clear enough, it might just not try to identify it. But that one, I got it from like one in a large number of guys, because the fingerprint was kind of worn out. See the threads that we have in the finger, it was kind of smooth.
Okay.
But the question is actually quite important. I'll ask it a different way. Do you know the accuracy of this fingerprinting system? Do they have a number?
A number in this case is what I know from their documentation is it's very accurate. They've never encountered anything that of inaccuracy before. So they just say it's accurate. So it's maybe the guys were implementing and encounter different aspects that kind of exposes a different loophole in the whole approach, because IT system, you might not be that perfect.
Yeah, could you just email them and ask them, can we get a number of the accuracy level or the reference to the accuracy level of this system? Because again, the question is, should we use fingerprinting as the exclusive matching thing a lot of times, or should it be coupled with other things as part of the matching? So we need to confirm that before we roll this out more broadly. And it's an answer they should have handy to some degree.
Oh yeah, sure, I will do that.
Okay.
And Nelson, just have another quick question. So let's say that you're trying to identify me as a patient and you take my fingerprint, but you can't find my data. So even though I've previously registered with a fingerprint, then how will the provider, is there what is a second option for that person to look for you? He has to just go back to the previous screen and type the search. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So there's another way to identify as well. Okay, great. Thank you.
Welcome.
Nelson, another question So the workflow we've used for identifying clients before was you search them on the device. If you can't find them, you ask if the person is connected to the server whether we should search against the server. Is that something that you're planning to do at some point, or how's that workflow going to work?
I thought about that, and if you search on the device and you don't get that person, like in the document that we had done earlier on, I thought maybe for searching in the server, you could use other identifiers, because there is no uniqueness of the patient fingerprints. If you scan me today and tomorrow you scan me, it will be a different fingerprint image. That's what the library gives us. So if there was a way we could get the exact image when I scan your finger today and tomorrow is the same image, we could as well go to the next level of searching from the server. But in this case, because it's not unique, it varies, I thought we could leave that aspect of searching from the server to other searching variables.
Yeah. So I'm a bit confused now. So
okay. Let me come up again.
Yeah.
If I scan your finger right now and store your base64 string, then I scan again and store your base64 string, they're different.
Yes.
So
but will that string be able to, suppose you scanned me 2 days ago on the device, okay?
Yeah.
And then today on the device you scanned again, and you are comparing the base64 from 2 days ago with the base64 today on the phone, will it find the match? It will, right?
Yeah, it will find the match, yeah.
Okay. So suppose 2 days ago you send that base64 to the server and it got removed one reason or another from the device, right? And so 2 days later, I'm searching and I don't find you on the device, and I want to figure out if you're on the server. Wouldn't I be comparing the same base64s from 2 days ago and from today? They just sit in different locations. I'm missing something.
It will not be the same because we can even leave out the base64 aspect. If you scan using the library itself, the image byte array that you get is different each and every time you do the scanning.
But you can still compare them to say it's the same person, right?
Yeah, you can only compare them to say it's the same person using the library files that they have, but not comparing manually.
Oh, so then the question becomes, can those library files be put on the server?
Yes, that's a good question. The libraries, I tried using my local host to put on the server, but the moment the identification process happens, that you must have the fingerprint plugged into the phone. The moment you remove that the fingerprint scanning device from the phone, it's kind of you don't do any other identification. So if there was a way, we even talked to them, if there was a way you could do that identification on the server, that could be a super kill for us. But maybe a different fingerprinting technology would do that. But for this case, it's kind of restricted that you must do the identification once the reader is attached to the phone.
Well, so that brings me to a very basic question. So, a lot of times we've done fingerprinting on PCs for a long, long time, right? So why would someone invent a technology that only works with mobile devices and wouldn't work with PCs? So I'm a little bit confused about that. Are you sure you can't do it on PCs?
You can do it on the PC, but the server side. The PC, again, you must have it plugged in, the fingerprint scanning device. But this technology, I'm not saying it doesn't work on the PC. It really works on the PC. They have a PC option. But I'm just talking on their version of mobile, because that's what I've interacted with closely.
Yeah, but no. Basically, when you send it to the server, what you're sending them is a payload similar to what they get from a fingerprint that's scanned on on a device attached to the PC, presumably, right?
Yes.
I don't know if I'm making sense, guys, in terms of what I'm getting to, right? Anyway, all I'm saying is we'll need to figure out the PC side, because if we have a mobile fingerprinting technology that we can't use on the PC side, then we can't use it for the larger program. Okay? And you can't have two different fingerprinting technologies, one being used for mobile and the different one being used for the PC. Okay, so we have to do a little bit more research on that aspect of things, Nelson, because otherwise, it will be a no-go. I don't know what other people think.
Yeah, I think you got me wrong. This technology really works well with the PC, but being able to identify, if you have like 1,000 patients and you have all of the 1,000 patients, their fingerprints have been captured. So if I capture my fingerprint and I take it to the server so that it can identify that, okay, this is the fingerprint, like you searching using the patient identifier. So you go search on the server for that fingerprint, you will not get that because it varies each and every time you scan. But if you were able to get the same unique ID from the fingerprint scanning, same time I scan my finger, it would be ideal to identify from the server side and pull that patient details to the phone. Am I?
No. Basically, what I'm saying is you wouldn't be doing the matching using kind of a string-based match or a distance-based match. You'd be doing the scanning using the APIs or the libraries that they have. Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you could get the payload and say this is a fingerprint, run it through their library stuff to do the matching on the server side. Anyway, we can have this conversation separately, but we need to solve that issue. We need to solve that issue if this technology is going to be used within the program. Okay. Now, if you tell me, it's one thing to scan against 20 individuals on the phone. It's another thing to scan against 1 million individuals on the server. It will take forever. That's a different reason to go demographic for matching on the server. So that's. I think you guys get the idea in terms of what I'm trying to get to. So I think maybe Win and Shweta, you guys who are more technical, can comment on what I'm trying to say. I don't know if I'm making sense or I'm wasting people's time.
Hi, this is Shweta. So I think I kind of understand now what Nelson is saying. Let's say, this is how I understood. Nelson, correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say that there is a person, and on his very first encounter, he gets his fingerprint done. And then he comes back after 4 or 5 days, and then he gets his fingerprint scanned again to identify, and the device actually matches it and says your unique patient ID is whatever. And then if the data on your device is outdated for this patient, you send only the unique patient ID. So I guess what Nelson is trying to do is, instead of you use fingerprint scanning only on the device end to locate a patient and a unique patient ID, and use the patient ID to download from the server. I think that's what he's trying to say. Is that correct, Nelson?
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I completely understand that. That's not a problem. It's only when you try to do the match using fingerprinting and you don't find them on the device, and now you're trying to, suppose that person is actually on the server, they just want part of the code to download it on the device.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying to figure out, should I match this person on the server using their fingerprint, yes or no? So that, if they exist, I can download the information from them. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
Peter, the scenario you see makes sense. I'm talking about the scenario where you cannot even find them on the device, but you think they're in the server.
Right. Okay, so let's take the case of the same person, and he comes back after 4 days, and for whatever reason, the device cannot match the fingerprint, and therefore says, I don't know who you are, I can't find you on the device, right? In that case, you would switch back probably, I think this is the way a user would be using it. They'll say, oh, I can't match your fingerprint, but I know I've registered, you're telling me that you're already registered, so I'm going to do a text search and then probably get the details. That is why the text search would come in as a second option for searching, because it wouldn't make sense to, like Nelson said, each time the fingerprint happens, it could possibly not give you the same match. So even storing it on the server and matching it on the server wouldn't really work sometimes. And it's a lot of data going back and forth. And a fingerprint is probably not the most accurate and the fastest way to identify a person as compared to a unique string or an alphanumeric of some sort, which is the patient ID. So it's just a way to get to the patient ID faster, is what I think.
Yes.
Okay, so no, that really helps. So basically what we are saying is you do the fingerprint scanning. If you can't find them, you switch to a text-based matching, and and basically just follow our usual algorithms for comparing them on the server also.
I would
Is
think
that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's what you're doing now, Nelson.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then if you find them on the server and you download their demographics, do you force them now to put in a fingerprint because it maybe did not exist?
I think that's subject to discussion. If you've already found the patient, would you still go to identify them? Or you'll just go ahead and, because I don't know the process that happens when you use the text-based and pull the data from the server. I haven't tested that yet. But someone who has tested can elaborate more.
Yeah, I think the point is because we want to populate the fingerprints as much as possible with time, okay? If you try to do fingerprints for someone, and chances are maybe they've never had a fingerprint done, and then you do a text-based search, and you're able to download their demographics. Now, if the demographics come back with no fingerprints available, right?
Yeah.
No, chances are we should say, hey, we see that this patient does not have a fingerprint. Please collect one just to complete their demographic information. Am I making sense?
Yes, you are. And I've had it that when you tap on that patient and you go to the patient observations, like a dashboard, it gives you a toss down there that this patient has not been, this patient's fingerprint has not been captured. So if you wish to capture, you can now go to a demographic update form and capture their fingerprint and push to the server.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it'll be good to walk through that, just how that workflow works through a demo at some point.
Okay.
Now we are past our time. But this is good. So what are the, it would seem to me that Nelson, we might want to just go a little bit deeper also in the other issues, because obviously some of us, like me, ask a lot of questions. Right. But do you want to just walk through what the action items are or what the takeaways are from this? Maybe Ada, you can help with that.
Sure. So Nelson is going to ask for the accuracy level from the fingerprints company, and Steven's team is going to provide some devices for Nelson to test. So some of the suggestions of the changes is to have the default finger instead of asking the users to choose every time. And then it should also document it on the user manual so that they know when it's not chosen what the default value is. On the fingerprint page, it should have a warning when the fingerprint scanner is not connected to the mobile device, so that user know that it needs to check instead of wondering what's happening. Also, apply the muzima UI. That means like the color, the buttons, and all those things that so that it has the same feel for the fingerprint page. And also make sure that certain buttons should be disabled unless the required information is available or collected. And then need to revise the fingerprint page that to work in similar way that the barcode scanner page works. I think that's pretty much it for the to-do items or the suggestions. Did I miss anything?
Yeah, Nelson, just I think Eda, that's a very good summary. Nelson, are these suggested changes reasonable, or do you feel like we are detracting from what you really should be doing? Because again,
no, it's okay.
Okay. Yeah, we don't want to get in a situation where we're making suggestions and you feel like we're taking you off the tracks. We want to actually feel like we're doing something more collectively and everybody's on the same page.
Okay.
Yeah, I think actually it's good that Nelson did a demo, so just to show us what has been done. Just some minor changes in terms of the feel and the look, and also maybe workflow a little bit changes. Yeah.
And well, the comment also for Wayne is maybe taking a look at a lot of those things a little bit earlier on to provide a sense of direction to the developer, so that they're not going one direction too far, even from a user interface standpoint. Could save them a little bit of cycles. But this is really good, Nelson. Like, I think the functionality is awesome.
I just want to say, Nelson, really cool. I've never seen this done before. So it's happening or how they're actually matching things. But if we get a kind of rough overview of how it's happening, we would be able to really use it in a much better way. Because I think as of today, we are restricting finding people based on fingerprints just to the device. And like Martin said, maybe in the future, if you want to store it on the server, then it could possibly be easier for us to implement it that way if we understood how it actually works internally. But I think it's really awesome what you've done.
Yeah. The other last comment I wanted to make was that Win and Eda, this would be the other opportunity, the standard UI stuff for Muzima. Remember the document we were talking about? So basically kind of saying how buttons should appear and things like that. So this might be a first use case where we enhance that document if need be. Am I making sense?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I also want to add one more thing before I forget. So let's say that for the use case that we search because like a existing patient in the server, but it's not on the device, and then it go back to the device to the server and try to find the patients based on the normal way we identified the patient, and obviously this patient either have like not very accurate fingerprint collection, or it doesn't even have the fingerprint information collected. So I want to know also like which step that we need to take in order to capture the more accurate fingerprint information so that it can also be updated to the server. So that might be something that we need to do in terms of for the data for the existing patients to collect the demo, fingerprints information. Wayne, do you have things to add?
I will try to review the code for Nelson. I think committing early and committing as often as possible is a better approach.
Just wonder if Derek, Stephen, Mother Kwan have comment as well.
Yeah. At least we've caught up a few stuff and we're in for the thing. I myself, personally, I don't know about the other team.
Has Manu completed the dispensary form?
Yeah, he according to what he was working on yesterday. Yesterday was the last day on which he was working on the last final bit of the remainder of which this afternoon we've not met. I was in another different call at CDM, so I think I can talk to him later. Then I can do email about the dispensary form. But I think it's complete.
Win, do you know if it's complete?
I didn't see any pull requests coming in, so.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say that's Stephen and Win follow up because they're working directly on the development side versus the. Cool, guys.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Nelson. Great demo.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Nelson.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice weekend.
Thanks, Nelson.
Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Thank you too.
Um,